I'm back to talk to you all about protein. So I was talking about how plant-based protein compared to animal-based protein like meats are not going to be as bioavailable, and they also are going to be a carb and or a fat source typically first before they're a protein source. So let's take a look. This is, I'm just using food in my house, ground turkey breast. And if we look at the nutrition facts on the back, 1.5 grams of fat, this is per serving size, 0 carbs, 27 grams of protein, and that's in 4 ounces. So that's a nice amount right there. Sorry for my hiccups, but just ignore them for a sec. Okay, now let me do this one next. Chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Okay, so in the serving size, it's going to be 4 ounces. That's going to be about the size and thickness of my palm. 3 grams of fat, 0 carbs, 25 grams of protein. And just so you know, for generally healthy people, 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal is a good thing to hit, to go for. Now, people are always like, Amber, why don't you like beef? It's not that I don't like beef. It's just that beef isn't a lean protein source. So I do have lean ground beef here. This is 93% lean and 7% fat. So for one serving size, 4 ounces, so same as the turkey, same as the chicken, you're going to get 8 grams of fat, 0 carbs, and 23 grams of protein. So your protein is a little lower, you got a little bit more fat. And this is the lean ground beef. Imagine if you get the regular ground beef, it's going to be a lot more fat. Now, let's take a look at one of my favorite protein powders, Ascent. We have this at the studio if you're interested. So protein powder is just something that is great for convenience. I use it when I'm in a hurry or typically for my post-workout protein because I don't really want to eat like chicken after I'm done with my workout. It's just a personal preference. So 1 scoop of this is a serving, 1 gram of fat, 3 grams of carbs, and then 25 grams of protein. So that gives me all my protein. Now let's take a look at some other animal-based proteins that are they're from the products of the animal, okay? So that is going to be our cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. Why Greek? Greek yogurt is strained. It's got a higher amount of protein in it than your regular yogurt, or just, regular yogurt that's not Greek, okay? So if you look at the cottage cheese, now listen to the amounts. You ready? This is low fat, all right? I do the low fat to try to bring some of that saturated fat down. 1/2 cup is a serving size, 2.5 grams of fat, 5 grams of carbs, 13 grams of protein. And you're like, well, Amber, that's got more protein than the fat or the carbs. It does, because this is the low fat version. Your high fat version is going to have more fat in it, just so you know, okay? And then the Greek yogurt, 3/4 of a cup is a serving, 0 fat, obviously, because this is 0 fat, not from whole milk. 7 grams of carbs, 16 grams of protein. So these are animal-based from an animal, so they're going to have more protein in them, all right? Let's switch over now to our plant-based ones. So nuts and seeds. A lot of times people tell me, I'm eating nuts, I'm eating peanut butter, almond butter as my protein source. I'm about to burst your little bubble. I'm very sorry about this. 1 serving of this is just 1 ounce. That's not very much, you guys. 16 grams of fat, 5 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of protein. So this is a fat source first. You're only getting a little bit of protein with it. Let's look at the peanut butter. Love me some peanut butter. 2 tablespoons. Also, you guys, if you're like me and you love peanut butter, you probably should measure it out and make sure you're not eating more than 2 tablespoons at a serving. 16 grams of fat, 7 grams of carbs, 8 grams of protein. So you see, this is a fat source first, okay? What about the PB2 I know some people are going to ask me about that. That's just defatted peanut dust, I guess is what it is. No, it's great. If you want the peanut butter taste, but you don't want to have all that fat, that's a good choice maybe for you to make a little PB2 peanut butter or put it in a smoothie so you still have that peanut butter taste without having all that fat. All right, now let me also say nuts, seeds, nut butters that don't have a bunch of added things in them, and that's all this is. When you look in, it is peanuts and it contains 1% or less of salt. All right, so this, you know, a lot of them add sugar and oil, so you have to check those ingredients on your list, because if it adds oil, that's going to add fat. So nuts and seeds and the butters of those are heart healthy fats. They are good for us, but the thing with fat is it adds up really quickly. So you only get a small amount of these serving sizes. That's just a little thing to remember. And this is another seed that a lot of people like to use, flaxseed, because it has omega-3 fatty acids in it, which are really good for our body, really good for our brains. So if you have 2 tablespoons of this, again, weigh and measure this out, because you can eat way more than you think you're eating, and that's going to be a whole lot of fat. This is 4.5 grams of fat, 4 carbs, and 3 grams of protein. So not your main protein source. You just get a little bit. Let's look at grains. I love these. I eat these for breakfast. And a half a muffin, not the whole thing. So a half of this, 0.5 grams of fat, 15 grams of carbs, and 4 grams of protein. So that's going to have more carbs than protein, all right? But you know, it's got a little bit of fiber in it. It's got 3 grams and half of that, and we all need more fiber in our life. So that's why we eat grains, all right? And beans, another great source of fiber. So when we take a look at this, half a cup of beans has 0.5 grams of fats. There's a tiny little bit in there. 22 grams of carbs, and 7 grams of protein. So this is going to give you your carbs first with a little bit of protein. I hope that this helps you to understand a little bit more. So when you're reading those nutrition labels, you have to look at the other macronutrients that are on those nutrition labels. So you make smart choices. It's great to eat a variety of foods. All of these foods fit in my diet. Actually, these are mostly things that I eat most every day, in conjunction also with fruits and vegetables to get my fiber in, and of course, you know, vitamins and minerals. So that's your little chat about protein. I hope this helps you to understand a little bit more, and just remember, yes, you want more plants in your diet, but I certainly suggest that you also get some animal protein into your diet to make sure that you get all of the essential amino acids that your body cannot make. You have to get from food. Those are going to all be found in your meats, and you will find them in different amounts and certain ones in your plants. That's why plants are considered an incomplete protein, because you don't have any plant that has all of the amino acids in it. They're each lacking at least one. All right, hope this helps you guys. If you have questions, shoot me an email.